Hello, my name's Scott McGinn. I am a senior quality engineer and sometimes test lead based in the northwest of England. And on my video today, I just want to go through how to install Playwright into your code base. So on my last video, I gave a run through of an application I'd built that I was using to help me with practicing my my software test automation. And that video, I'll put a link to that in the description below, and I'll also give a link to the repo so that you can download that repository and have a little bit of a play with the application yourself. And that's what we'll basically be doing today. We're just going to install Playwright into the code base for that application so that we can start writing some Playwright tests. So I'm on the playwright.dev website. And this is the website that's got all the information that we need on Playwright. If you go and click on Docs, it'll take you to this page, and we've got the installation will pop up first. Obviously, it just depends on whether you've ever been to the website before. Something else might be cached, but yeah, it should take you to the installation page first. And you'll see there the instructions for how to install Playwright and a lot of other instructions, and that's all stuff that you can go through. I'll go through some of the general how to write tests and things like that on future videos, but for this video we're just looking at how to install Playwright. It gives you a few options on how to do it via the command line. So you've got npm, yarn, and pnpm. I always go with npm, which is what I've got on my machine for installing all my packages. So that's my package manager. So I'll take a copy of that command. Nice and easy, and then we go into Visual Studio. I've got a code repo here. You see Bookstore Test App. It's got my back end, my front end, all that stuff that I showed you in the last video. And yeah, if you download the repo, you'll see that as well on your own machine. If I click Terminal, New Terminal, and you see there's the path. That's the thing that we're looking for, making sure that we're actually in the Bookstore Test App folder, which is where we are. And then we're just going to copy that command. So we're using our package manager, and we're going to install Playwright, the latest version. We press enter. It'll ask you what language you want to use. I always just press enter through all this. I've done this a lot of times. I've never had issues just pressing enter through all these questions. So I'm just going to do that. WordP end tests, add GitHub Actions. Yep, and it'll install it. Tells you that everything is good and ready to go. You got happy hacking down there, and so we are good to go. That's installed Playwright. So what you've now got, you've got your Playwright config. I'll do another video. I keep saying I'll do another video. It's just basically so that we're not cluttering up this video with stuff that's going to just, blow the purpose of the video out of the water. But the config's a handy little document to look at. It's got all the general information on how Playwright is going to run when we run it, and what it's going to be looking for and things like that. So handy little thing there. You've got node modules have been installed and your GitHub Actions. Your node modules is just all your stuff for Playwright and all the dependencies there. You've got a folder with tests, and you've got an example spec. When you see name.spec.ts or .js, that's your folder that's going to run your tests from. So this is, you might have everything all over the place when you've actually built it up a little bit, but anything that's .spec is going to be tests. And you can see your tests in there. So you've got test has title, test gets started, etc. Down here as well in testing, it'll load it up, and it just basically it's installed Playwright, and Playwright's now your test runner. If you look at the example spec, once you've actually clicked that, you get little arrows next to these, and this is where you can actually run these tests from. So you can run them as individual tests. So if I click on that, I'll bring up the terminal a little bit more, and I've got one passed. It does open up a little browser. It's opening up on the other screen for me. I keep on dragging it across and telling it to open here, but it won't because computers don't like to listen. And there we go. So yeah, that's what it's doing. So that test is saying, go to Playwright Dev, which it's done, and a rate to have title Playwright, which it does. So everything has passed on there. We'll run the other test. Let's see if it actually behaves itself and runs the browser in the right place. It hasn't. Oh, wait, let's have a look and see what we've got. There's our browser. There you go. And you see that it's actually navigated there. So it's told you to. So link, get started, and that's exactly what it's done. It's gone to there, and there's that installation page we were looking at before. Nice. And that's it. So we can also run them from here. So sorry, I should actually show you that. So again, clicking on the beaker. If you want to run all the tests at the same time, on the example spec line, you've got a play button, so you can run them both. And you'll see that it runs 2 tests and 2 passed. Again, doing it over on my other screen. And you can run them as individuals from there as well. So if I want to run as title, run it, and it tells me it's passed. And that's it. It's really quick and simple to get Playwright into your repo. In the real world, you may come across instances where your developers ask you to write your test in a separate repository. That's fine, as long as you remember that you either have to spin up an instance of the application under test locally before you actually start running your tests, and then you just point this at the domain that spins up locally, or if they've hosted versions of the test environment, then you've just got to make sure you've got your correct URL in there. But yeah, it'll basically take you to any URL you put in there, so that's not a problem at all for our purposes. And normally it is nice if we can actually put our Playwright test into the same repository as the code. But yeah, you're going to come across some software engineers who might be a little bit precious and not want you to do that, and that's absolutely fine as well, each to their own. But that's it. That's installing Playwright into your code. I think we can leave it at that. What I'll do is when I get a little bit of time, these videos are not going to come out on a regular schedule. I'm not the BBC. These videos are going to come out when I can make them. I am currently looking for another role as a senior quality engineer or a test lead in the UK. I'll include a link to my LinkedIn, so if you are wanting to have a look at what I've done and what I could bring to your organization, have a look at my LinkedIn, reach out. Happy to have chats. If you just want to have a chat about doing test automation, or if you've got any questions, again, feel free to reach out and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Other than that, have fun, enjoy your day. Thanks everyone, bye.